Hello, everybody. This is a grumpy old guy gaming. Past couple weeks now, my son has been mentioning every now and then. He's like, Dad, why don't you do another AdventureQuest video? My answer was kinda the most polite way of saying, I'm tired, I just want to do this thing. I would say, yeah, I was going to, and honestly, I was going to. Small insight for those who don't really, realize I have maybe two videos that I plan out over the course of a week, and that's a Fragment Friday run, of course, on Fridays, and the Weekend Warrior, which honestly is a series that has taken on a life of its own. It was originally at a point where I didn't really get a chance to play my Blade Master, which was my main account in Fragment. Very much. I was always playing my other two uh, character slots on that card, so I wanted to set aside one day a week where I could at least run something with my Blade Master, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'll just do this for the channel. And now it's just become, that weekly show where I hit things with pointy objects, which is probably the best way I could describe it ever. But aside from that, I really don't plan too much out ahead of time. And even those are mainly off the cuff. It's like, hey, let's run this dungeon this day, or in the event of the Halloween server tour, it had been about a year since I had done the previous one, and it was really time to update, because aside from a few servers, like, there was a big changeover in servers over the course of a year. But AdventureQuest, again, it's a game that I'm always coming back to when I have some free time, when I just need to de-stress and play something. On the quicker side, I know the character's here ready to go, and it is that time for me to make another video. So let's go ahead and get into what a typical session looks like for me. See, I changed to a more accurate picture of myself. Gonna go ahead battle some monsters to get this SP bar up a little bit, just some random battling. Got a Dore. Oh me. Okay, it's a water element monster. Pretty standard fare on those, so I'm going to switch over to the Mankind's Moxie, as that's got a pretty decent water defense, and the best shield I have against water is actually the Magnetic Protector. Throw up my Swordmaster's emblem. For my weapons, I want the Undefeatable Blade, which is not going to be in the shields. I'm a putz. I clicked the wrong thing. So that's energy. It could switch to ice element, but energy is where I need it. Looking at the other resistances, it's sort of dealer's choice. I don't have a specific water or energy pet, so my little unicorn buddy's sticking around. Not too worried about this thing outright in the first turn, so let's go ahead and focus a little bit. See if I could build up those points for a massive Kindred Strike. You'll notice the sound effects are off here, because the sound effects really on the robust side. They're very loud and sudden. Getting that focus up. May not even use it against this monster, but that way down the line, if I'm facing something that's got me in pretty dire straits or that I want to get rid of, I'll have that Kindred Strike sort of banked. Let's say it takes 200 for that. Yeah. Okay, so the Kindred Strike is banked, but before we go ahead and think about whether or not we're going to use it, let's see what a normal attack does. Oh yeah, 490. We're in good shape. Like, it's got some pretty strong attack. We've still got some potions. We should probably go back and get more potions after this. The misses are troubling to me. What has it got? Yeah, we shouldn't be missing that much. That was twice in a row. We hit that time, I believe. It just didn't register on the graphic. There we go. That's a solid 334. Probably need to heal here when we get down to about 600. Not worried about healing too much before that. So still another turn, maybe two. That's the strike I was looking for. The Undefeated Blade has that 2-hit combo baked into itself. And we start popping those things off, this battle will be over in a hurry. And that's why I wasn't too worried about it. Time to heal again. As you saw, it had a bit of a magic attack, and everything we could just hold steady at that point, but you know, we're gonna make progress from this point on. The do-ray, no pun intended, is gonna be spinning its wheels a bit, just getting us between 1200 and 600. Sorry about that. That was actually my cat in the background deciding that my controller no longer needed to sit where it was. Sort of de-stressing a little earlier, playing some Mahjong. Oof. So that was a big attack. I chanced the health another turn at 600 and noticed the do-ray's attack was ready for another. Is it do-ray or do-ray? I'm gonna go with do-ray. Didn't realize it was ready for another big attack, and that almost bit me big time. Fire right back though. There's another quality 800, and when you know it, it's down to about half health. Okay, got another big attack coming here, so I'm just going to potion up now. We know how this is going to go. If it misses, all the better for us. It wasn't missing. But now we can get right back in the fray. Should have another one coming up here in a couple turns. See if we can get it down to about 5,000. That would be nice. Now we gotta start potioning up now, or else it'll be an early night for us. Just chugging those bottles. I remember years ago, and this is decade plus ago, they had those little health potion and mana potion energy drinks, and we had bought a bunch of the vials, and then I would fill them up with like red and blue Kool-Aid and stuff just for the heck of it. Yes, that's how big a dork I am. I made my own health potions. Yeah, what do you want? It was fun. Look in the fridge and see those in there. So now the bars are looking damn similar. Numbers, of course, a great deal off, but that's how RPGs work. Hero has like 1,500 hit points, but just manages to keep himself afloat the whole time. Monster's got 38,000. You drop them. Because that's what makes the weapon seem awesome. I did so much damage. Yeah, but it's only that much of the bar. Percentages, kid. Percentages. Ha! Did not want that. Switched to my blue server cap when I went for a potion. Reduces the damage of your lucky strikes, but encourages them to perform twice as often. Let's get back. Saw that I got shaving everything off putting that damn hat on. My head shrunk too. Love little quirks like that in a game. Another quality 579. Another potion here. Could have probably ended this a touch sooner using the Kindred Strike, but it wouldn't have one-shot finished, so it was best to hold off. Get a nice chunk of experience and a decent bit of gold. That wasn't what we were in for. To get the potions back, I'm going to take a shortcut on most of them. I'm going to go to my player house. When you go inside, I got this little potion shelf here, and that's going to fill me up to, I believe, 20 or 25. Yeah, 20. I still have my 29 mana potions because I don't cast spells. For the rest of them, I could go in here to the Guardian Tower, click on this little teleporter here, and go to the triple challenge. Every battle you fight in the triple challenge, it's going to be random sets of 3 monsters. Well, it's going to be sets of 3 monsters chosen at random because the 3s are all going to be identical to each other in the set. But every battle you win here is going to be another potion, health and mana that you get back to your inventory. You could cap out at 30. I'm going to switch to my Awe gear. And since my SP bar is up high, I'm going to cast the one spell that matters to me. It's a free spell called Dunamis. I'm going to power up my melee attack skills. That's going to be nice. And what's even nicer is now that's free. We're just going to be hacking away at these guys for a few potions. I'll do like a battle or two here, and then I'll pause the recording till I'm ready to go again. Always love the little orc death animations there where you slice the head and it falls off. There goes another one. Don't know why orc number 3 didn't attack, but we'll take it. So as you could see, they are literally any level. So if you're lucky, you'll get a bunch of low levels, get in and out of here, no problem. If you're not so lucky, at a lower level, you'll run into like 3 level 80 monsters and just get stomped or have to run away. So that's 2 in the books already, and here's 3 level 1s. Like 2 of them should be done the first turn just on principle. Don't know if my pet will finish out the 3rd. Yeah, there you go. 1 turn for the whole shebang. Actually takes longer to save up, and we get 6 Z tokens, so that ain't so bad. Luck keeps rolling here. I can't believe this. Another 1 round shot. This time it didn't even get to the pet. Obviously, we're not racking in the dough here, and we're not going to level off this. Level 40s, that's going to be the closest thing we get to a challenge on this so far. Haven't even put up my Swordmaster's emblem the last couple fights, just haven't thought about it. So I'm going to finish up here, and after this burp battle, I'll pause and rejoin you guys when I'm back to 30 potions. Okay, just 1 to go now. I think it's so bad. Oh, wow, that's a waste of a Reaper Strike. Last time I did play AdventureQuest for the channel was sort of a simul stream with Wifey. We just both sort of logged in and did what we could at the time. And I was begging for those Boatman strikes. Did finally get them, but it took forever. Anyway, as promised, I'm going to pause now and rejoin you when I'm all set. Okay, and we are back. Just finished up my 10 battles. Certainly should have taken longer than it did. Let's see if there's an event that's particularly compelling for today. I haven't checked really too much. Lost Talon is the Temple of the Four Skies event. Yeah. What the heck? That should be fun. Let's check that out. Coming up on Zalar. Says it's still standing. I thought it would be in ruins by now, even if it was made to withstand the winds. It has been so long. We're like, that's a lot to take in. Okay, so we're looking at a rift. Goes, I'm sorry, I was out of it. You were asking about... Right. You've seen a prime elemental orb in pieces before, and perhaps what became of the land where it was broken or kept, right? Like, yeah, the fire orb was scattered before the manifestation. So those orbs have been broken before, but never quite this intensely. That's always ominous. What you've seen is a fraction of what their power can unleash, in the hands of one who truly understands their secrets. A fool or novice might use them for influence or as a mere amplifier. They are far more complex than glorified elemental cudgels. The knowledge of how to truly work wonders with them was scattered among mortals, that they might unite to fulfill their purpose. This disaster is the tragic work of someone who understands that. Like with any tool, the greater the feat you could perform with it, the worse it can get when it goes wrong. I've known that there's more to the orbs for a while now, but this is a whole other scale. Apparently there's a rip in the damn sky. We say the wind orb, and we are cut off by voices going, Deceiver, corruption, rid of it, guard the scar. And now we've got our first battle. It's a Windkeeper dragon. Oh boy. So I'm going to need to figure out something for the light element, but it's not too dire as this is level 45. Best I've got is actually my Black Pirate costume. And go with a Monumental Tower Shield. It's going to give my wind resistance to 30%. It's more of an offensive leaning armor. Keep the Blade of Oz. It's right now Earth Element, as my Awe equipment is neutral. Taking a look at the dragon here, it says it carries a strange adaptation to the threats of the far west. It has an initiative boost, reduced incoming light and darkness damage. It's also got a fear ability from me having the full armor of Awe set on. That's going to go away after this round. Now it says it doesn't take so much on the light and darkness scale, but it's still pretty weak to fire. So let's bring in my fire pet and attack away. Again, this was way too much thought put into a battle of this level disparity. It's level 45 and I'm level 120. That was not in doubt. Now we've got a Tenebraphage Wyvern. And Wyverns are never fun. This one, sort of weaker to ice. Not a problem, as I've got the same werewolf in ice element as I do in fire. And time to attack away. Biggest issue with Wyverns is the melee evasion. The defense is at 52. They also tend to have this nasty 2-turn attack where they create a vortex that can do some pretty hefty damage if you're not careful. That's standard Wyverns. I don't know if it's on this particular one as well. Normally you kind of have to hit them with something. That's usually what I save a spell for. Just throw Elemental Doom at it, as it has 8 chances to hit. Just hopefully something to knock it out of the sky. So we beat down the 2 relatively easy intro monsters. In Largos, that was no random ambush. Something recognized me and reacted. Says, I fear I'm not so much accepting your assistance as dragging you into peril. Well, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Seeing this place, there may be no point in it. It's awful defeatist. Something mentioned ridding this place of corruption. Probably reacted to our heading or some trace of the Far West's magic. They're going to come after me with or without you, so don't start again. What do you want to do, and what do you make of this place? Zelar says it's obvious enough that something is protecting the Temple of the Four Skies. Maybe set in place by the original clergy if they recognize me. But they can't still be alive. But this scar, that's an opening to the wind plane, all but closed, yet something of that size. It's not my place to reconnect lore with the lost temple, but I'm not comfortable leaving it as an uncertainty. I know I'd want to make sure it's actually safe instead of assuming nothing has gotten past these flocks of barely coherent guards. Okay. Are we taking a closer look and leaving to report on it then? Zelar says that would be perfect. And now we're facing an exceptional owl. Okay. I mean, sort of second verse, same as the first here. And technically it's third verse, same as the first, but this one doesn't have that elemental reduction to darkness, so I'm going back to my little unicorn. This thing actually switches between light and darkness depending on what the better stat is to attack with, so I tend to leave that as my default. Once again, level 45, we're not sweating this battle. It gets one swing at us, and that's a big whiff. Now we're up against the level 45 Desert Griffin, which looks a lot like a turkey vulture with cat hind legs. Magic number is 45 though, so we sort of knew that battle was over. Rocking our way in closer, Zelar says it's almost directly above here. This is as close as I need to be to study its stability, but something is very strange about this crater. We of course agree, guess the wind would have smoothed it out over time, but the rocks under this dust don't sound right. It's a weird observation. We should look for some more solid footing before we get a nasty surprise. And as if on cue, never mind. Zelar says, even with magic to slow it down, these bones aren't quite meant for falls like that. Are you hurt? No, of course not. We're the hero. We don't get hurt. You're hurt. Goes, there's no hole in the roof. Where did we end up? So Largos Zephyr's Cradle, I believe, the original shrine of the Wind Orb. We're at the deepest part of the temple. I'd never been here before, but my lord had the information that I was to use to sow discord. I can almost wrap my head around falling sideways, but no magical trap would take an invader to the single most important place in the temple. Unless it's become something else entirely since then. Maybe the whole temple is a trap to guard the rift now, reacting to Far West corruption. But reacting to the possibility of your return is awfully specific. There might be echoes, like at Dragonlorn Keep. You know, I've been out of the game a while, and I only play passively, but my goodness, I do not remember my hero being this coherent on anything. Good job him boning up while looking like an edgelord grandpa with a weird back hunch. Zelar says, a solid theory. Unfortunately, I'm the last person who could soothe any tormented souls lingering here. What powers my lord granted are ill-suited for such healing, and I am the root of all their suffering. To be honest, I'm still uneasy about that story, even if we're on friendly terms, but I've got your back. Now, there's no welcoming committee, but it can't be safe to stay still. Let's find a what, and we once again get cut off. And we've got something that looks like a giant bird and is called Gothari talking to us. It goes ahead and says, find a way to survive the coming storm without the temple's aid? I know you tried to vouch for us. The rest of the priesthood is the problem. But you see the truth. You can still save my people. Is this an illusion, we ask? Then we're corrected. It is a delusion. What makes the priests think the cursed armies won't come for them too now that the High Communicant is gone? Leave us out to die is insane. Zilar says, vision or otherwise, these are indeed the Gothari who stole the wind orb. Okay, so now we know the giant birds are called Gotharian. It's not a personal name. Says it's the high clergy who decided we must be out to steal the orb, so our people can't get close to the temple. And they won't bring it out to help us leave. Do you see the cruel irony? There's no middle ground between utter devotion and being a criminal. If the Brilhado claim us, the dead will rule the skies, and you will be to blame. That leaves us no choice. I'm sorry. I really am. And now we gotta fight the Gothari. Again, level 45, so we're not terribly worried here. It's definitely going first, though. Doesn't seem to really matter what we hit it with as long as it's not wind. Just gonna stick with the Blade of Awe then. Always the chance of that Reaper Strike or something fancy like that friggin' laser. Plus they're level 45, what am I worried about? Even with the initiative boost, it's hitting us for like single digit damage. Our water attack mists. That's another great thing about the Black Pirate armor. It's got that little short, kind of small sword in our left hand that we're using for a third attack as the water element. Now we're up against another Tenebraphage Wyvern. This thing was weak to ice last time as a secondary element. Yeah, that's staying constant. Lucky strike on the second hit, and with the third hit landing, that gets us in a good position. Pet takes it down under 150, so one strike should do it here. Takes two, but that's fine. We had three at our disposal. Now we're up against a Quebec. That is some classic AdventureQuest art there. These things can get a little nasty. I think they can mess up your mana if I'm not mistaken. Cast a spell at us first turn and it won't get a second. I'm amazed this isn't scaled to my level. Most of the quests are kind of scaled to your level. Really surprised to see all these 45s, but it's letting us get through on the quicker side, so I'm not sad about that. First of all, ow, the Talons feel real. Something familiar, though. Fighting those felt a lot like Sage Oldor's power to share his visions, like hitting something in your dreams, only way less sluggish. Zilar says, visions made manifest. None of the old clergy had that power. I held what few I could at bay. I'm glad to have not heard a... Ah, never mind. Shall we follow the one who fled? Yeah, there were two, weren't there? So that's apparently where this leaves off, and now that we've done that portion of the quest, there's a little shop where you could buy things related to the quest after the battle. And everything's sort of capped at 45 here too. But neat looking weapons here. Got this heavy mace. Focus as sort of a spell wand, and then a warbow for ranged attackers. Armor's going to give you the Talon Guard cloak. No preview of this. Armored with Wind Dragon scales, it grants its bearer wings and the ability to disrupt enemy attacks and defenses. That actually sounds pretty badass. Shield, it's a tower shield type. Heavy tower shield and the late protectors of the Temple of the Four Skies controlled remotely. That's kind of neat. It can pay SP to gain even greater elemental protection. Not so bad. Got a spotter drake as a pet. That's a neat little wind pet. I have a vampragon that I guess I could have used an earth element pet that whole time, but I didn't. And then you've got a vision shard as well. No, we're not going to buy the vision shard. So you can continue, reopen the shop, or just leave. I'm going to continue, but that's going to wait for another video. I think this one's gone long enough, and sort of showed the quick fun you could get into an AdventureQuest here. Honestly, a pretty detailed story here, and I'm kind of curious to see where it leads to from here. I would like to replay more of this sometime down the road. Maybe hop on next week. I'll see what happens this time of year with the holidays. It's kind of crazy. And I'm never quite sure when I'll have time for what. But if I get a chance, I will try and revisit this on channel. In the meantime, this has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Take care, and we'll see you around.